Hello. Um, this is a VOD of 8D versus Timeless um, from Dive Party Finals. Toronto. Alright, let's go. Little skipping.
Ready for battle.
A little more skipping.
1.
Okay,
Attackers incoming.
so right off the bat, these are
Stop
great
the
positions
payload.
to play. Um, the first thing that we're going to look at is how Logix and Dynasty um, force this Tracer off flank. Or how they don't, rather. Okay. First problem with this drop is, it's an LOS of their Ash. He gets body shot by Ash and has to use recall instantly. Um, I would advise dropping lower, like later, not lower, later, where you're in less of an LOS of the Ash. I also don't like just dropping on him. Either be ready for him, right? Like, I wouldn't play lower, but I play up high. I would say just like wait. Don't just int down on him, because the easiest tracking in the world is if someone's falling onto you, you just swing your mouse. And especially in the LOS of the Ash, I really like playing it slow, sort of letting the Tracer get a little bit farther into the map, and calling to Dynasty to follow up on a two-man dive to try to punish him. But that doesn't happen, and Roach gets free engage, so that's, or not free engage, but he gets free mega, which isn't really ideal.
She's gonna blow!
Lots of poking. Logix ends up being able to get the high ground, but he'll eventually be forced out because he had to use recall early. um, I don't care that your backline gets naded here, because you hit the whip. If the brig doesn't hit this whip, this is a terrible position for your brig, and she should just be holding shield. But because she hits the whip, it's perfectly fine. Um, I don't mind going for the whip over just shielding the nade, but either one is good. And then it's backline time. Monkey has to drop further further in. Right? You can watch
She's gonna blow!
3, 2, 1. He's gonna drop down, right? And instead of actually like getting into the backline to actually pressure something, he ends up just sort of denying damage, which is fine, or denying heals, which is fine, but in reality, he doesn't even do that very well, because if the monkey had been high ground, the Ana needs to take 2 steps back to heal him. So the bubble needs to be further in, and I would love it, love it, if Dynasty peeks this as he's doing this. Um, that's kind of a thing I saw the whole VOD, was Dynasty and Sunny's cohesion on dives is very off. It'll happen. You'll see it in the second fight. That'll be really big. But Dynasty has to like look at this. Like if he looks at the Ashe initially, there's a chance you guys get this kill.
She's gonna blow!
Right. Boom. Right. If he looks here, there's a chance, right? Probably not. But it at least pressures maybe a pack as well. That's just Ashe or Ana healing. And um so that's pretty important. I like this reposition though from Dynasty. Um, playing here eventually is just too susceptible to the Ashe, and getting out is very good. Again, M1 Ken is doing a really good job at denying this Winston. He doesn't deny him fully here, but he hits another really good whip.
Hey!
And this fight is a story of bedtime story of feeding. I don't know what this guy's doing, but he tries to make a play that he did a lot and never got punished for, but Dynasty finally looks at him and he gets punished. Um, so so the big things for a first fight are making sure you're setting up this trap for the Tracer better, as well as when you pressure with Monkey and you have someone height, whether it be a Tracer or a Genji or an Echo, um, playing into like trying to deal extra damage as the Monkey falls is really good and can pressure out way more resources. And yeah, and once you kill the Ashe, it's just play defense, and you guys do a really good job of that. Logics does get a little low, but it doesn't matter because there's no more pressure from the Ashe, and you just walk at them. Very nice. Good nade as well.
Touch now.
It's a little scary, right, to int that as your brig. I don't love this brig play, um, but it is what it is.
Showing up. Hello. She's gonna blow.
Yeah, so it takes Logics a long time to get back reset, and he's just not ready for whatever's coming. So you have to give up a lot of map space. Right? If your Chester plays here, again, or here, even here isn't terrible. It's just so much more map space that you have. Whereas what happened there is he couldn't get back to his spot. He couldn't get back to the good positions that you want to be in the start of the fight, and 8D just takes all the space. You'll see in a second. Their backline's gonna walk up. This is a really fucking good nade. Um, the problem with this is what you'll see in a sec. What happened right there is Sunny looks at the Ana, Dynasty looks at the at bedtime story with the Ashe, and not the nated Brig and Ana. So that's a communication error. Sunny needs to call who he's dropping on, and Dynasty needs to be there to follow up on him. And that's I think mostly on Dynasty, but also on Sunny to call it. But that is really just not even unfortunate. That's just bad calling. Like that, there's no way that both backline members are nated, and in this situation, you're not getting one because I'm pretty sure you don't kill Liana here. Yep, you don't. Right? Like that's really egregious that you don't get any kills there.
Hey, catch. Yes.
We're back to playing fairly good positions. Logic's still really undercommitted, but that's fine. I don't hate playing here, especially once the cart gets a little farther and you're still um, in the fight, right? I mean, he obviously can't come back here, so I'd like him to start over here, but not be over here now. This is a really, I believe this is a very good punish on this monkey. Yeah, I love this. Um, it's a little dangerous, especially this Echo just int is a little dangerous, and you do have nade, so I really would not hate throwing a nade at this monkey first to make sure this is a clean kill, but I think you eventually do. Oh, you don't. You don't even get that kill. Okay, never mind. I lied. My notes are lying to me. Okay. Whatever. I still like the play, right? Pressure him out. I think if you throw a nade there first, it's so much better. And you can even maybe clean that kill with a monkey drop down from height. But it's fine. Like, again, you've used little resources, right? You've made forced recall. Obviously, stickies are going to be used all the time. You 4 seconds to bubble. No Ana util's been used. And you have no packs, which is a little unfortunate, but obviously you have whip, so as long as you don't miss whip, you should be fine. And they just had to use nade. Their Tracer's half HP. They're using dynamite and coach, right? They use nade. He has one more pack than you, but it doesn't really matter, right? So you're up again in resources, and you've given no positional advantages. So, well, they have gotten no positional advantages rather.
She's gonna blow.
Uh, it's a fine nade. Their tracer kind of catches it on her head. Um. Oh, this is yeah. All right. I mean, just watching Dynasty's POV here, you can see this is just. I mean, I don't know what he does, but he gets dynamited and he just drops for some reason. I don't really know why, but yeah, he's just dead here. There's not really much you can do. Um, so I would say don't drop like that. Still play height. There's no pressure on you on height, and it's where your supports can see you. Otherwise, yeah, that's really it. It's just if he doesn't die there, this is a way more winnable fight. Okay, this sleep should stick. Their tracer is shooting for some reason at a Winston who's nanoed instead of letting their tracer you know, letting their Ana sleep him. I don't know what this guy's doing. And if I have this in my notes right, this guy misses literally all his
Helping you
cooldowns.
recover.
So this is a fucking miracle play that works. I would say um you should win this fight. Like that's a terrible thing. He hits one pack and his Ana dies. And he misses another whip. So again, this is a play that's pretty miraculous. I really like I don't know what Bedtime Story is doing. I don't know what Narwhal's doing. They're both pretty much throwing. You win this fight because they just in their positioning and also someone wakes up Sunny. Uh it's really really deep for a solo Winston. Even with Nano, he shouldn't get either of these kills. He should be slept, he should be naded, and they should at least get out. Um, so this is a really bad misplay by 8D, and just, I mean, a fine play by you guys, but yeah, I would like to have seen Logix maybe not pulse. I mean, obviously there's a random Ash in the middle of the road, so it's the better play, but a better play for the moment. But I would have loved to see Logix come help the monkey to try to clean some of these kills. In a fight that doesn't go this perfectly, I think it's more likely that you're gonna need the support for the right. And I don't know why Logix is playing so far back. Right. He's taking the Tracer duel,
She's
right?
gonna blow.
Yes, heal's above him, but the Tracer's gone, right? He can play more aggressive and he can set up to help Sunny here. Because I mean, you're going all in with Nano. You're hoping that Dynasty can also come in. The problem is that Dynasty just used his fly. Wait, he didn't use his fly. What is he doing?
Taking flight. She's gonna.
Okay, yeah. Uh, this is actually timed fairly well if Dynasty stays high ground because he gets his flyback as you nano in. Um, I, I think this is very much just a throw by Dynasty. And there's not, even though I've said a lot else, there's not a lot else you can say. I think that nano's fine if your echo is there, and then Logix doesn't have to play aggressive. So. Well, this is pretty much a miracle fight. They just kind of throw. And I mean, they never really pressure your backline, so.
Present for ya.
Alright, their fight. Alright. Again, I think Logic's. I mean, again, if Logic sets up here, this is another free kill, right? Or at least somewhat. At least he's gonna have to force utility. I don't hate setting up here, but you just be aware of where this Ashe is. Especially like they know you know where the Ashe is and you know she was a little ahead. Could have called that out, but she ends up getting back to her team. So it doesn't matter.
وريهم قوتك.
I mean, this is a too early whip. You can't whip this early, especially into a nano fight. You need to have whip because you need the 50-50, or not a 50, not even 50-50. It's just like a good chance you'll hit the whip and knock him off height. And even if you don't use it as he's jumping, you can press into bubble and whip him off height. It's no excuse he's whipped this early. It's kind of like just sleeping him here. It's just not a good play unless you can just anti-kill him. But they see this instantly and just
وريهم
walk on you.
قوتك.
Alright, and now we look at the backline, or the dive for a second. Again, same problem we had last fight. Monkey and Echo are just not fighting the same people.
Adaptive.
There should be a kill here. I don't know what this copy is. I'm not gonna lie.
Allah till
Honor.
I really don't know what this copy is. But again, you get one of these kills if you are jumping together, right? If Dynasty and Sunny actually like walk together, but Sunny's just going so fast that either it isn't being called to Dynasty that he's going, and it's not being called on who, because I mean this is really egregious. Like, I mean Sunny just misses his dive, and Dynasty hits his dive, but Sunny's not there, so there needs to be more coordination between those two. And obviously I can't hear voice comms, but something is obviously not working there, so that should probably be worked out.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
till
Honor.
Yeah. You drop off height. I don't really know why. Yeah, there's a nano monkey, but he's gonna get unnanoed in like a second, and then you play low ground for some reason. I don't know why you're playing low ground. If you play height, there's just way more you can do, or even just rotate this way. But low ground is probably the worst place you can play, just because it's more susceptible. It's easier to hit nades, especially if the prig bashes out like this. And it's also easier to just collapse in. When you're down numbers, you want to be out in the open, or not out in the open, but you don't want to be in a small room where you can just get fucking anti-naded, right?
Allah.
I don't like this rally either. I mean, look at your team. This is a 4v4, 1 2 3 4. Yeah, it should be 5, right? Yeah, 5. I can do math. This is a 5v2. You gotta realize that your tank and your other DPS, who is on Ana now, are nowhere close to the fight. And even if they could be, like, see, you just get walked on in the room. If you're on height, the only people that can fight you are the monkey, and maybe an Ana nade, but probably not if you can either hit the whip on the monkey or block the Ana nade, which you should be able to do one of the two. But this is a terrible rally. I mean, nice kill. It's nice to get kills in these kind of fights, but it's already lost. So. Okay. Nice stall. I like the stall initially, and then there's some things that I'm a little questioning about. It's a great kill on the brig, right? Okay, you're up 1. All you have to do is not lose to their one big ultimate. Right? One big ult you can't lose to. And we don't sleep the Bob. So the Bob
60
just
seconds
actually carries
remaining.
this fight. If you watch, like Bob forces Dynasty, and he's about to focus force your monkey off point. So there needs to be a sleep coming down on this early, uh, so that it doesn't instantly force three of your members. Because if you don't, um, Logix can play left side, and you can maybe look for engagers on their backline. Again, it's just a really hard fight, so it's not really you're not expecting doing this. Even up one, it's still a little hard. Um, but you definitely have to sleep the Bob, and then you have to go fight something together. But again, you're sort of really scattered, so it doesn't matter. And I mean, yeah,
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
you're just dead. I would like to highlight this. This is a fucking clean ass kill. This is a fucking crazy kill by Dynasty. That's all I'd like to say.
Here it comes.
So, you know, sometimes even when you lose the fight, you still get the clip. So that's a big W. We like we like good plays here. All right, their supports are gonna get hyped. That's unfortunate, but it's what happens when you take late fights. I don't mind taking late fights, and I think you guys had a really good attempt at it. I think, obviously, again, you have to sleep the Bob. If you sleep the Bob, it gives you 3 more seconds or more than 3 seconds, because it's not a tank. Whatever. It gives you more time to sort of reset and get your advantage, right? Look how close you are to Nana. Look how close, like you had Pulse, right? You can just reset for 3, 4 seconds, right? That changes the way that fight goes.
Present for you.
I don't know what your biggest thing here. I really don't. Um, you get a nice opener, but your brig is just in in. I don't really know what he's doing. Um, I would just play on play on your Ana. Don't don't overextend all the way out here. It's not really worth it. Like, what are you gonna actually accomplish on brig all the way over there into a 3, 4 stack of people? Logics, I think you go help Sunny on cart, which I think you eventually do. And then this is just really unfortunate. Dynasty misses his dash. He misses his dash to Hagen. So like I believe like it's unfortunate, but you still win because they're so split, right? Yeah. If Dynasty hits this, this is probably a one fight, but you eventually start to lose this fight. Um, because you do exactly what you just saw. You see how the monkey and your tracer are not playing with your Ana. In stall fight, in fights with low people, you have to play around your Ana. Give her bubble, right? Give her pressure from tracer. Force the other team to fight through 3 people rather than just one, right? This Ana does instantly, and even though she nades, it doesn't matter, right? And now you're kind of like stalling, which is never where you want to be, right? So if you just play with your Ana and walk her back, you can just take another engage. You don't need to just in point here. So yeah, I don't really know what we're doing here, if I'm being completely honest. You're honest in spawn, and you're engaging with no one. I don't hate early engages here, especially since their Ana was walking back, but you can't just solo engage with your monkey. This is just gonna force primal. Um, and then I don't know what your break is doing. What I'd say here is instead of engaging, either like let's say right here we can pause and we can give some coaching to this team live. Um, you need to back up, right? You need to hold some space, right? Big here, right? Monkey can stay height. Genji can probably go height, right? Chaser can look to mark cart a little bit depending on who's on it, but like a dive here with only your monkey is just not. I don't see what like I don't see what's going on here. I just I don't know why they're primaling, right? I don't know. I guess maybe he was low. But this is just a really weird fight from both teams, and yeah, I don't get it. You should know they have primal. You should know this is a bait, and if you walk in, you're probably gonna die or force to use primal. Like just wait, right? Their team isn't back yet. You can wait for your Ana, who is getting spawn camped currently, right? Like like this is a play from your Winston, but you can also just wait and look to re-engage as 5. And again, right, like, this is, I guess this is okay.
Barrier down.
I mean, it's a whiff on the pulse, but it's the target you want. Does she have rally? Oh, you could probably look to hit the Ana here instead of the break because she has nano. Let's see, did I run anything else down? Oh yeah, you gotta retake right here. Supports. Let's see. Let's see.
Winging it. Catch.
Yeah, here, I'd love your supports to go hide here. Playing main, again, not very good, especially when you know there's a tracer behind you. Forcing her to walk this way into a small choke, that's one, easier to aim at her, and two, just better for you, um, is just going to be much more beneficial for this second int that they're going to do. And you would have had time. I went timed it. If you had walked there initially, you would have time to still do this on time whenever you want. I mean, yeah. They're and you're on low ground, right? So their Tracer has free access, and their Winston pretty much misses his bubble and also misses his jump damage. So if you look at their monkey, he misses his jump damage and his fucking his bubble is pretty far. So it's honestly like if that jump damage hits, you probably Keith is probably dead, and so is Myken. I don't know how to say that name, so I'm gonna say Myken, and if it's not Myken, I'm sorry. But like he should die there like instantly because of the jump damage. And melee hit. But he does not. So your supports would have been dead. You would have won the fight, but it's a little thing that like if you play height here, it's easier to whip. It's easier to force the tracer, right? It's just better to play height.
Power jump.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no way you would have lost that even if your supports died there, probably. But just a good thing to
Team kill.
go do. Oh yeah, this fight is a little unfortunate initially because I'm pretty sure Keith lags off this high ground. At least that's what it looks like. But yeah.
Behind you. Here for you.
I like these initial
I'm here.
positions
Keep
like
fighting.
a good amount. Especially you're forcing them coast, right? you have cart on your side, right? You're forcing them coast with playing heavy high ground control and little coast control. Like your Yana isn't here, right? So you don't have lots of coast control. It forces them to play coast. I really like it. I mean, it's unfortunate. It really looks like he just legs off the cliff. Like if you watch, like he's not even moving his cursor. So, um,
Behind you!
I mean, if he's not lagging, this is a terrible play. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But it's a great recovery. Your brig is gonna drop instantly, and you're gonna walk height, which I really like. Uh, and it seems to have worked. Their monkey jumps at nothing, so good job on that one. Yep. And then this is really good. Like this lull period is very good, right? You
60
don't
seconds
lose
remaining.
incredible positioning, right? You still have some card control, right? And you're pressuring their monkey, so their monkey's gonna have to run away. Right. Now you've lost card control, so now Logic has to go in and play cart here eventually, which he's doing perfectly, right? This nade is gonna be really nice in a couple seconds. Yep. Really, really good nade. What happens here is Dynasty overextends. He shifts again. Even if the monkey does not get slept here, it's a bad play. He needs to only shift once. Otherwise, the positioning here is really, really good, right? Mykin can look to support Logic's on cart. This fight is way cleaner if you look to, or if Dynasty doesn't dash here and gets just turned on. Right? And now it's a little bit more even, right? They have Bob, they have Rally, right? You have Rally here in a sec, but it makes it a little bit more, means you can get punished a little bit harder.
The Iron Core, 30 seconds remaining.
You're safe with me.
Stand up straight.
Hey!
Yeah, here the nade's a little late. I mean, obviously it hits the brig, but it is a little late because he's not able to deal any damage to the brig while she is naded, and you then get pressured really hard.
What?
Where's your brig?
Let me help you with that!
Oh yeah, I don't know what Keith is doing here. I really, really don't.
That
Yeah,
must
you can see it
sting.
there a little bit better, but he gets knocked away well before the nade comes out. And in reality, you want to throw them kind of at the same time, so the brig has to choose. I don't know how this brig doesn't block both, for being honest. Unless I'm just wrong, but it looks pretty good.
Let up now!
Yeah, she just doesn't hold her shield. She should know the nade's coming. So it's a late nade for sure. And then Keith is doing
That must sting.
who knows what here,
That's how you do it!
he misses a couple of shots on the middle.
You're powered up. Get in there.
It's a good nano, but he drops for some reason and doesn't heal his brig. So I would advise against doing that. Playing keep him playing height and just playing into the bubble is fine. Look what the other damage is going to have to deal with, right? Like these guys can't help their Winston, right? Roach is coming at half HP and Logix is right behind him, right? If this guy,
Untamed.
right, he has to recall instantly, right? So if you can stay height and heal your brig, yeah, she might get pulsed. Okay, then drop. Don't drop early, right? Don't preemptively drop and then die. Or, not die, and leave your brig to die, rather. And again, you're looking at two different things, right? If you both look
10
at
seconds
that
remaining.
Ana, she dies. If you both look at the Brig, she dies. But again, Sunny and Dynasty are not doing the same thing, and they haven't been all game. Um, that would be the biggest thing. You're going to win this fight. It's a nice fight, but I don't really know what their Ana's doing. Their Ana Brig are forced to
Overtime.
cart, and Primal is really strong. It's a really nice Primal. But yeah, it's a nice Primal. It allows you to get back in time, and you hold on.
She's gonna.
Nice target focus, but um, throughout that round, I think the biggest like number one thing, if you could fix anything going forward, it's definitely the Dynasty and Sunny dives. Every single time they went for a dive, neither of them were looking at the same target, except maybe one time they were looking at the same target. So uh, you'll get so many more initial kills, and even if you don't get the kill, you're pressuring so many more resources if it's one or if it's two rather than just one. So there's lots of times that's the biggest thing. I think retaking good positions, especially on first, like going back to first point, retaking here, right? Retaking here, which Dynasty did pretty well. And then just tiny little mistakes, right? I'm thinking about Dynasty's death on first, right? He just falls off height for some reason, right? The Brig rally over here in a 2v5, right? Just little mistakes that cost you some of these fights. And even this fight, like you win it, but Keith makes a pretty large mistake by dropping off height here and not healing his Brig, right? So Uh, I think just thinking, obviously, I could point out millions of little mistakes, but those are like the big little mistakes, the big individual mistakes. I think the big macro mistake is there's just not a lot of coherence between your two big divers of Dynasty and Sunny. They're not hitting together, and when they hit at the same time, they're not hitting the same target. All right,
We have
on to attack.
Complete. Score 0. Initiating match.
Okay.
Ready. Ready
Keep
for
going.
ready for battle.
Keep going.
5, 4,
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Um,
Stop the payload.
good TP, obviously. I know not a lot of people do it anymore, so a lot of people don't expect it. And especially against Ashe, it's really good. If they're known for playing Echo, I wouldn't do it, just because you can get insta bursted right out of it. But look at how much space it gives you. Very good. Um, I I don't know how I feel about this rotation from your supports. Doing this really fast. I think if it gets spotted, this is a really bad position for your supports. Um, the Winston Diva or Winston Diva, Winston Tracer can come over here and with peeks from your Brig can punish us. But if they don't see it, which they don't in time, once you get up to here, you're pretty free sailing. I like this jump as long as he doesn't get whipped, and you can see it if you missed it. Their Brig missed the whip, so now it's really good. But it's a little bit risky. I don't hate playing from here initially and waiting for your monkey to help you clear this right side fully. I don't hate that, especially with their Ashen on a playing so far away, right? Just playing I mean, it's okay to play aggressive, and I like this risky play, especially like because they're on a Ashe playing so far away. But if they're playing even a little bit closer, I would say wait for your monkey at minimum. I don't know how reasonable it is for this to work out every time. Keith gets naded, he then suicide nades. I don't really know how today dies to this. He dies to it because he jumps on your Ana and not on out. Um, so I would say this is probably not what you should be doing generally. It works this time, but suicide nading into the front line at while you're naded at 1 HP, I don't love it. It can work, but it's like if you don't kill the monkey, if the monkey instead goes from here and he just jumps back to his team, one, you're not gonna chase that. Like that puts you in a really bad position. And two, your Ana can still die to Roach, right? So you still have a 1 HP Ana who's still susceptible to a dive from your Tracer. Um, I think the way to avoid that is just have Myken play a little bit
Let
slower.
me help you with that.
You can see Keith is or Keith a little bit faster, right? One of the ways so that nade can either be called out and then Myken is a little closer, so Keith doesn't feel like he has to do this, right? He doesn't take any of that poke if there's a brick right here, right? He might not even take the fucking nade if there's a brick here, right? Or he just needs to be faster and not shoot this tracer, right? And I like shooting the tracer, so I really like your break playing a little slower rather than faster here, because I like trying to poke this tracer out, right? Obviously he misses a couple times, but it's a good thought to poke the tracer out. I also am not sure about Dynasty's a little bit late here. Ends up not mattering, but yeah, it's a really risky play that usually shouldn't work for you, especially with a monkey with who has jump. But it works out. So at some point you have to say it worked out. So don't do that every time. But and now you have to wait. This is kind of the problem. Is you have to wait. You're gonna get the first part of the map for free, but they're gonna have a really good second point or second half hold if they rotate correctly, and they do. I would just say again, Dynasty. In this fight, if you go and watch positioning, it gets a little scary sometimes, especially when you watch Bedtime Story. Like if this guy's like sort of looking for you a little bit harder, you're probably dead one of these times.
Just what I need.
He's looking for you there, but if he keeps his head up, you swing back in pretty aggressively, and definitely can for sure get punished for that. So just be careful. Not saying you can't like sort of play aggressive like that, but you just have to be careful with the Ash. And obviously he's not looking, so it ends up being fine. Nice. You don't have to hard chase this chaser. It's nice if you can kill him, but don't overextend your positioning. This is another time where it feels like you just don't respect Bedtime Story. And again, I don't know how good he is, right? He could be the worst Ashe in the world, and this is a fine play. But against better Ashes, this isn't a good play. Like, you look at Bedtime Story, he hits, like, you're just flying at him. And he doesn't hit a single shot on you. So, you know, maybe it's because he sucks, but it also, which it is, right? But right, he only gets 2 shots, but he turns a little late, so, and if he hit a headshot, he can just double hipfire you, and you're probably dead here. I also don't like that you're pressuring him and your monkey isn't pressuring him, right? Your monkey eventually goes to pressure him, right? So if you just wait a second, let Sunny go and pressure him first, you can even like walk lower or like walk with your monkey to the statue and jump together, and you probably get this kill. But again, you guys are so separate in what you want to do. It doesn't seem like you're talking to each other, which I know you are, right? I mean, I hope. Lord have mercy. I hope you're talking to each other. Yeah. For this sort of second fight in quotes, your supports are really close here. And the problem is that they have to touch cart. So there's you want your supports fairly far away. Yeah, you want to be able to pressure pretty hard, but you also want your supports far away so that their monkey has to decide whether he is going to inch your supports or stay cart, right? And he kind of has to stay cart. So if your supports are really close, it ends up being not that good, um, just because he can do both at once. But they end up getting out, and you can even see see what I'm talking about, right? Roach is both contesting the cart, which is about to get checkpoint, and he's pressuring your brig.
Bombs ticking.
But that's a very nice collapse on the monkey. That I was as I was watching this the first time, that was probably the best collapse I've seen all of you make at the same time. Even just two of you. Obviously, it was three of you, but it's the best collapse you've made all game, which isn't good. Other than maybe this one over here, where the monkey's antied and 1 HP. So if your best collapses are on monkeys, that's either you're playing a comp that is trying to int the monkey, which you don't do actually all that often, at least in this VOD, um, or you're not doing a very good job at collapsing on supports. Nice jump. Also, this nano is terrible. I don't know why we're nanoing in a 4v3 with the 1 HP brig. I looked at this POV, I just don't see it.
Bombs ticking.
Don't fret. I see.
No one can stop me!
The Eye of Horus watches over you.
You
You're powered up. Get in there.
I mean, he's reloading, but he's also in the bubble, and the checkpoint is raged, so it's not a good nano. Save nano there. I sort of get why you used it. You're reloading. He's low, but just you gotta holster that one. Okay. And I'm pretty sure this is the last fight. It's a really long last fight, but it's a good fight. Or it's not a good fight. I'm not necessarily a good fight. It's just a long fight, but it is the last fight. The first problem is you should be careful to take hard engages here, even with ult advantages on high ground, just because you're always going to be 4v5 as long as Roach doesn't go to fight the Tracer. If he goes to fight the Tracer, that's a different story. But you just have to be careful. The way you do it is very strange. So rallying while naded is definitely, while there's people on you, is definitely a strategy. I generally don't advise it, but it worked at this time because you're so close to the door, which is really nice. So that's really good support positioning. Even when you're getting naded, you're still. But again, like here's again, I just don't get it. It seems like Sunny is trying to do something, and Dynasty is just not listening, or Dynasty has an idea of what he wants to do, and Sunny is just doing something else. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is, but we are copying Brig, and our monkey's going in with Primal. I don't like. I don't understand what is going on here. And it's the same thing that happens the whole map. It happens the whole map, right? Dynasty and Sunny are not on the same page. I don't know if, like, I don't know what is going on in the comms. Obviously, I can't see that, but, or hear that, rather. But
Adaptive circuit.
this is a wild copy. I don't like this copy. You're copying Brig, uh, insanely far from everyone. You have to walk up into an Ash Ana. I don't see it.
Brigitte.
Like right here, this monkey should probably be dead.
I keep you up.
Like they should have peeked in, naded him, and then slept him and 3-2-1 him. Or slept him and then naded him and 3-2-1 him. Yes, he has primal. He probably lives, but it should, like, he should not be living this long. I don't know what they're honest doing, but she's not throwing her nade. And now the brig works. Like 8D has thrown this fight already, by allowing this copied brig to get so close, as well as a just rallied brig to get so close. You know, you don't hear very often brig rally and monkey as divers, but you know, I like it. I like this idea. Um, you shouldn't have been able to get here, but I like this idea. I really do.
Reversing personality module.
And Dynasty can take the mini, or he can just leave. That works too. And Sunny has primal, so
Special delivery.
seems like I mean you got to a place where it was good, but it wasn't good until they just kind of let you in and didn't, you know, pressure you and stop you from just walking a brig up onto them. So I want to be hesitant to say that that was good. It wasn't good. Let's just say that it wasn't good. AD through that. I'd also like to point out this drop. This is a really weird drop. If their monkey and tracer were a little bit more aware, one of your supports should die here. But the tracer never drops, so it's fine. For you at least. But you drop split if you can see it. I'll show it again. You drop split on the corner, right? Drop split on the corner. I get you're trying to bash him, but you still drop split. So one of two things. Your brig is either gonna say you're trying to bash the monkey, or I was bashing off. If you're trying to bash the monkey, Keith can't drop. He has to stay up top. If you're trying to bash off, you shouldn't do that. You should just walk backwards. So, yeah, you have to drop together here. That's the big thing.
Special delivery.
I don't know why we're pulsing that guy, for being honest. It could force primal, but it doesn't. And also, it doesn't kill him. I don't. I mean, it's not a terrible play, but it's definitely a, like, you could probably hold that one. I very, very much like how you flipped the map here.
Hey, catch.
Doesn't happen quite yet, but it will in a second. Yeah, I really, really like how you flip map here. This puts you in a really, really, really good position. Where now they're sort of attacking into you, and it's generally better to have defensive positions than offensive positions. So, very good. And Dynasty gets a really nice kill here because you flipped the map and the way you did it. So, not much to say in this fight. This is this is a really clean fight. But again, right? I know that time he got shifted, right? So it's a little bit. This time I think it's not a miscommunication, but you can see again He's a little bit late. Dynasty's a little bit late for what Sunny wants to do. Yep.
I feel invincible.
Yep. Ana drops a little early again. But not too terribly early that it matters all too much.
Nano choke. Ah!
The payload is approaching its
Yep.
destination.
Overall, attack. I think it's some of the same things on attack as it is on defense, right? Sunny and Dynasty are not collapsing together, and when they do, it looks really good, right? When they're collapsing on the monkeys on the monkey on first, both those times, it looks really good because they're there together. But when it doesn't happen, it looks really, really bad, and you're missing just easy kills. And the second is Keith and Myken need to play together and sometimes in better positions more often. What happens sometimes is Myken gets a little eager and he likes to go off in front of Ana. Or he tries to make a play on Brig. I would say just chill, right? Don't ain't your positioning, right? Again, your job is to block nades and to defend from the dive, not to walk up into space and let your Ana get poked out by either nades or monkey or tracer, right? It happened a few times. There were some times I liked the Myken playing a little bit more aggressive, but the majority of the times it was he needs to play a little less aggressive or Keith needs to play more aggressive, right? There's two options. But I think most of the time Myken's a little bit too aggressive and is a little bit late on some of the drops and not with Keith, which could definitely hurt you against better teams. I'd just like to say thank you for offering me a trial, and this was really fun, even if even if I don't make it. So thank you.